refuse to believe that Malcolm Jamal Warner would have wanted his wife and daughter left financially vulnerable after his passing. According to court filings and media reports, Malcolm Jamal Warner's widow, Tanisha Warner, has filed a lawsuit involving his estate and trust, which reportedly has been overseen by his mother since she was named executor in 1996. This situation is especially heartbreaking because everyone involved is experiencing unimaginable grief.
Just when many people thought Malcolm Warner Jr. could finally rest in peace, a new family dispute came to light. Reports revealed that tension had been building between his wife, Tanisha, and his mother, Pamela, for quite some time. The situation became even more public when Tanisha gave an interview in which she openly spoke about issues involving Malcolm's mother. On top of that, she reportedly filed a lawsuit against Malcolm's estate, claiming that she was owed $1.2 million. However, Pamela is not staying silent. She has strongly pushed back against Tanisha's claims and has raised serious questions of her own. According to Pamela, there are still unanswered details surrounding Malcolm's death. She believes Tanisha may know more about what happened than she has shared publicly. Because of these concerns, Pamela has reportedly stated that Tanisha should provide a complete explanation of her whereabouts and actions around the time of Malcolm's passing before any money from the estate is distributed to her. To understand why this disagreement has become such a major topic, it helps to look at what first brought the family conflict into the spotlight. Recently, Tanisha sat down for an interview with Gayle King at her home in Georgia. The interview caught many people off guard because both Tanisha and Malcolm had always been known for keeping their personal lives private. They rarely shared details about their relationship with the public. During the conversation, Tanisha admitted that one reason Malcolm was attracted to her was that she preferred a quiet life away from fame and public attention. Ironically, that very interview has now placed her at the center of a growing family controversy.
I've never liked the spotlight, and so that's one of the things that he loved in me, meeting a woman that didn't care about what was on the red carpet at all. And
you really didn't care about any of that.
I did not. Mm-hmm. I remember even going to an event with him, and we walked the red carpet, and I was like, get me out of here. It was too many lights. And I was like, can I just meet you at the end?
When the conversation turned to Malcolm Warner Jr.'s mother, Pamela Warner, and how she and Tanisha were dealing with Malcolm's death, Tanisha appeared uncomfortable and guarded. She made it clear that she and Pamela were never very close, and because she was already carrying the heavy emotional burden of losing her husband, she felt she had very little energy left to manage a difficult relationship with her mother-in-law. As she spoke about Pamela, it was easy to notice that there was unresolved tension between them. One of Tanisha's biggest concerns was the future of the family home. She feared that Pamela might decide to sell the property, leaving her and her 9-year-old daughter without a stable place to live. According to Tanisha, this fear was not simply based on imagination. She believed it was supported by what had already happened in the past. Tanisha claimed that Pamela had previously used her authority as trustee of Malcolm's family trust to sell another home, even though Tanisha objected to the decision. The exact reason behind that sale has never been publicly explained, so it remains unclear why it happened. However, the experience appears to have left Tanisha worried that history could repeat itself. Shortly before the interview was released, Tanisha filed a lawsuit against Pamela in her role as the successor trustee of the Malcolm Family Trust. In a public statement, Tanisha explained that becoming a single mother after Malcolm's death had placed a tremendous amount of responsibility on her shoulders. She said she was now the only parent and provider for their daughter. According to her statement, she felt she had no legal choice but to take action before any important deadlines under the law expired. She insisted that the lawsuit was meant to protect her family's legal rights rather than create unnecessary conflict. The lawsuit also included several financial claims. Tanisha stated that she and Malcolm had signed a prenuptial agreement before their marriage. According to her filing, Malcolm agreed to maintain a $1 million life insurance policy with Tanisha listed as the only beneficiary. She also claimed that he had promised to pay her a yearly bonus of $16,000 and a monthly salary of $5,000 for working as his chief of staff. Tanisha explained that these arrangements were made after they mutually agreed that she would leave her own career and become a full-time homemaker while also helping with Malcolm's professional affairs. Since Malcolm had established his family trust many years earlier, Tanisha was now trying to have herself recognized as a creditor of his estate. Her legal position was that any money owed to her under those agreements should be paid before the remaining assets were distributed to other beneficiaries. The timing of the interview and the lawsuit sparked a great deal of discussion online. Some people believed the interview was carefully planned to gain public sympathy and encourage Malcolm's fans to support Tanisha's side of the dispute. Others questioned why Malcolm's mother would not want to make sure that her son's widow and granddaughter were financially secure. Many people had always viewed Malcolm as someone who was responsible, organized, and careful with his personal and financial affairs. Because of that reputation, some found it surprising that his family was now involved in such a complicated legal battle. After receiving notice of the lawsuit, Pamela released a heartfelt public statement. The lawsuit had reportedly been filed exactly 1 year after Malcolm's passing, making the timing especially painful for her. Instead of quietly marking the anniversary of her son's death, she found herself dealing with legal action from her daughter-in-law. In her statement, Pamela described the past year as one of the most difficult periods of her life. She said she had learned both how cruel and selfish people could be and how deeply kind and supportive others could become during times of grief. She spoke lovingly about Malcolm, describing him as far more than just her son. She called him her closest confidant, her trusted partner, and someone who even guided her when she needed advice. Pamela also reflected on their long professional relationship. She explained that they had worked side by side for more than 40 years, building their business together. Malcolm was the public face of their work, while she handled much of the business behind the scenes. She said they faced many challenges over the years, but they always found a way to overcome them together. She considered it an honor to have shared such a successful partnership with her son. Her statement also seemed to emphasize how much Malcolm trusted her to manage important financial and business matters. Working closely with a parent for decades is not always easy, yet Pamela said they maintained a strong partnership built on respect and confidence. Supporters of Pamela argued that this trust explained why Malcolm placed so much responsibility in her hands. Others, however, felt that the legal dispute should ultimately focus on ensuring that his widow and young daughter were properly cared for. Another detail that caught many people's attention was how Pamela learned about Malcolm's tragic death. After Malcolm drowned while vacationing in Costa Rica, Tanisha was reportedly the first family member contacted because she was his wife, and their daughter also needed to be rescued. However, Pamela later revealed that she did not receive the heartbreaking news directly from Tanisha. Instead, she said Malcolm's best friend was the one who informed her about her son's passing, a detail that added even more questions and emotion to an already painful family conflict.
News. His best friend. His best friend was contacted. His wife called his best friend to come and tell me what had happened.
The passage suggests that Malcolm's wife and his mother may have had a difficult relationship even before his death. According to the speaker, they probably did not always get along, but Malcolm's passing could have been a moment for them to put their differences aside. Instead of reaching out to each other for support, the situation seemed to create even more distance and suspicion between them. One of the biggest criticisms aimed at Tanisha was that she reportedly did not call Malcolm's mother, Pamela, to personally tell her that her son had drowned. Even if the two women were never close, many people felt that a simple phone call would have been the respectful and compassionate thing to do. After all, they had both lost someone they deeply cared about. Some believed that this heartbreaking moment could have brought them together instead of driving them further apart. Pamela was especially hurt because she felt Tanisha remained silent after Malcolm's death but later reached out when it was time to deal with the reported $1.2 million. From Pamela's point of view, this made it seem as though Tanisha was more interested in financial matters than in maintaining a relationship with Malcolm's family. Since Malcolm had always valued family connections, Pamela reportedly saw Tanisha's actions as going against what her son believed in. These events also revived Pamela's doubts about the circumstances surrounding Malcolm's death. Questions had already been raised because Tanisha's account of what happened appeared to change over time. At one point, it was said that she was present when Malcolm needed to be rescued. Later, she reportedly claimed that she was not there at all. This inconsistency caused even more confusion. Adding to the uncertainty was Tanisha's silence after Malcolm passed away. Many people expected some kind of public statement or explanation, especially since the family had reportedly been on vacation together. Instead, there was no response, leaving many wondering where she had been and why she chose not to speak. When Gail later asked Tanisha about these unanswered questions during an interview, viewers felt that she still avoided giving a direct and clear explanation, leaving many of the concerns unresolved.
Particular day you were on vacation, so were you there first and then he joined?
Well, you know, the moments of that day, they occupy my body so deeply. So it's really hard for me to sort of relive what all of that was and to think about it, because it just breaks me in a way that makes it hard for me to sort of stay steady.
Gail only asked a simple yes or no question about whether she was on the island that day. Instead of giving a clear answer, she avoided the question and stayed very secretive about whether she was in Costa Rica. Every time Gail brought up that day, she seemed to change the subject or give unclear responses. In the end, she explained that she had been in such deep shock after his passing that she could not clearly remember what had happened. Her response left many people with more questions than answers.
Let me ask you this, was there a time that you thought you had lost both of them? Because that was one of the early reports. Can you say where you were at the time?
I can't remember the details.
You really can't. Do you think you just blocked it out?
I think it was my body went through shock.
Tanisha is a psychologist, and many people believe she understands how emotions can influence public opinion. Some feel that by describing her memory problems as the result of trauma, she gained sympathy from the public. According to this view, explaining the situation that way also made people less likely to keep asking questions about where she was on that particular day. Once trauma was mentioned, many people felt it was inappropriate to continue questioning her. Anyone who kept pushing for answers could easily be seen as criticizing a grieving widow who was dealing with emotional pain beyond her control. Whether that explanation is completely accurate or not, it clearly changed the way many people looked at the situation. Reports also suggest that Pamela and Tanisha made attempts to settle their disagreements privately instead of taking everything into the public eye. Tanisha was reportedly given access to Malcolm's estate, including his investment accounts and many of his personal belongings. Even if she has used those resources while starting new business ventures or handling financial matters, some people argue that this does not automatically give her a legal or moral claim to half of the family trust. The Warner Family Trust is viewed as something that Malcolm and Pamela built together over many years. According to Pamela's side of the story, the trust existed long before Malcolm got married. Because of that, she believes Tanisha is not entitled to receive half of assets that were created nearly 2 decades before the marriage. This difference in opinion appears to be one of the biggest reasons the dispute has become so emotional and difficult to resolve. Finding common ground has likely been challenging because there is already a great deal of hurt, grief, and tension between both sides. Even so, many people believe the main priority should be Malcolm's young daughter. Regardless of the disagreements between Pamela and Tanisha, they both care about the same child. Supporters on both sides feel that Malcolm would have wanted his daughter to be financially secure and well cared for rather than seeing his wife and mother involved in a public conflict over money. Many people online have expressed hope that the family can settle their differences peacefully. They believe both Malcolm's wife and daughter deserve stability and support, while others also stress that his granddaughter should remain an important part of Pamela's life. The situation has reminded many people of the importance of planning ahead and making clear decisions about finances and family matters. Above all, many hope everyone involved can put aside their differences, honor Malcolm's memory, and focus on what is best for the child.